Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Coding with Lying. This is more, again, another kind of update video. I'm hoping to try and wrestle with Forge again this weekend, so hopefully I'll be able to actually start putting code in the video description. But for now, I'm just still showing stuff off. So, I have been tirelessly at work putting more models into the game. So, we'll start over with our friends over here. The pig is an extremely classical creature. Everybody knows what the pig looks like. Well, he has a future cousin now. So he's gotten a bit more wild. I might need to change around the rendering on his torso a bit more, because that is actually a bit of a skirt more than anything else. But you can see he's got his ears off to the sides now. His snout is much more pronounced. He actually has a mouth, which, if I can get around to it at any point in time, I'm going to animate based on when he makes sounds. And he's got tusks. Now, their behaviour for pigs is that they'll generally travel around in just sort of kind of litters. So you'll have a larger sort of matriarch of pigs, and then you'll have smaller sort of children, descendants and such. And if you take off the mother, well, get wrecked, because those tusks are made for goring. But I do love the way that the ears are sort of rotated slightly there. I like the look of that. Okay, next up we have two different kinds of cow, as it happens, because the cows have diversified following the fall of the players. So, over here we have the standard cows that we're all very tremendously familiar with. They're all very one kind of species, one breed kind of cow. And, let's see, Future Cow 1 has focused on the horns. So here is our buffalo breed, and he is mostly going to attack you by charging. Now, I say attack you. The way that the cows work is that they work in herds, so it's sort of a much larger system compared to the pigs. And they're grazing animals still, so they'll just pick up grass and you won't really have to worry about them. They only really get worried if there's a predator nearby, if there's something that the herd recognizes is some kind of threat. They don't eat meat, so they don't generally just target you by virtue of you having food on your person or some such. But anyways, they've got forward-facing horns. They've developed a lot more mass towards the front here, which is important when you're charging at someone. And otherwise, they're kind of just built for colder climates, you might think, but it's really mostly just to make them look bigger, because they're there to scare kind of predators. And they also have the sticky outy ears that the pigs had. So here's our buffalo, which then means our next breed is probably closer to a gazelle. So you can see they're very different in coloration, and this guy is very differently built compared to the buffalo breed. He is built more for running and jumping and getting away quickly, so you can see that whereas our buffalo breed has his eyes straight ahead, this guy has his eyes to the sides, which kind of look a little weird when he's staring straight at you. But that's so that he can spot predators nearby, and if one of them sees a predator, then the entire herd starts to stampede. So the main difference really between the buffalo breed and the gazelle breed is which direction they are going to stampede. The gazelles will run away, the buffalo start running, son. But they both drop the same stuff, and they're both more or less hunted by the same stuff. So it's just really a matter of which is going to do which. I should note that with the exception of the last thing that I'll be showing off today, all of these are currently just models. They have exactly the same behavior, and they have not been altered in any way just yet. That is my next job. I was just getting the models into the game so I could actually see what I was trying to work with. But that then brings us to the last of the farm animals. Every farm animal now actually has its own model. So, the sheep. Everybody knows the sheep. Sheep are fun. Say hello to the horned sheep. So this guy, again, functions like a herd animal as the same way as the cows do. But these guys actually have dimorphism. So this guy presently is a hornhead defender. But that horn structure will turn on and off depending on where or not a given sheep is a defender. Defenders are randomly selected from within the herd as necessary, and they stay defenders until they die. It's sort of like the way that iron golems function to defend villagers at the moment. But they suffer most of the same kind of predation as the cows, and they also will have the particular trait that if you shear them, they're not going to like it so much. They'll give you more wool, but they're going to be very angry with you for it. If you shear any, well, they'll sort of combine the behaviors of both kinds of cow, because the non-defenders will run, the defenders will charge you. But then we have to wonder, there's a specific quality in all of the future mobs, and that is that they avoid water. Now, a few of you can probably guess exactly what I'm about to show off. That is the squid. The squid, typically, is an extremely sort of... you don't worry about it, you go hunting for them if you can ever find them, whenever you want them to get like a bit of black ink, but by and large, you don't really worry about the squid in the slightest bit. He's completely harmless, he has nothing to worry about. Why is he the only water mob, though? Think about that. He's the only thing in the entire ocean. You never see anything else. Well, the future squid might answer that question. Oh, yep, there he goes. The future squid is larger, he is much more vicious, and as you can see, what you might be able to infer from this right now is that he's actually trying to drown this squid. I don't know if he's actually going to manage this, so I'm just going to kill the squid for him. You see, the reason that he's trying to drown the squid is that he's killed every single thing in the oceans. He's now trying to kill anything that comes into the oceans. The squid are the only water mob because they've eaten everything else in the ocean. So, the model has seen quite a substantial update. You can see that there are two longer tentacles with club-like protrusions at each end. You can see that he's got his eyes actually outset now, so he can see better, because he's got to watch out for targets very far away, potentially. He's got a jet on the back, and he has a beak in the center of himself. Now, if he is actually attacking something, that beak is in fact animated, which was a little bit of a pain to get going. But let's give him a target. So, cow, I summon thee. Now the question is, will we actually even see this coming? Just. And down goes the cow. Now the cow can drown, of course. So, yeah, the idea here is that in the future, the squids are actually dying out. You're not going to see many of these future squids, because there just isn't a food source to sustain them. They have to wait for things to just come into the water, and then they go and snap up whatever they can eat out of it. And I'm just going to down a night vision potion so that you guys can see this a little bit better. There we go. So, whenever they're actually on top of you, whenever their main attack strategy is to swim up to you and then they mount you, and then they gnaw at your head, creating continual damage, and as long as they're doing that, they're also attempting to pull you down into the water, and they are also blinding you. So these guys are really, really nasty relative to the original squids. And I like that kind of inversion. The bats have hardly changed, if at all, but the squids have become exceedingly nasty. Anyways, that is what we're looking at so far. The next thing up for me is to get Forge working, hopefully, and if I can do that, then I can start working on the actual decay code again. But other than that, I'm going to be working on getting these guys to have their own AIs so that they'll actually start behaving as I'm describing them to. The squids are unique in that regard, and that I have actually had to work specifically on them for about 2 or 3 days, because they follow very different modes of operation relative to land-based mobs, in that they don't have a proper navigator, so I can't use the tax system, so I have to hard code their AI, which was a really huge pain. But anyways, that's that for now. I hope you've enjoyed another look at the future mobs of Nature Reclaims 2, and I shall catch you all next time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and or a favourite, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to be notified of future updates. You can also check out the website where most other content is uploaded. That's all for now, catch you later.